right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lisa Partida with Home Again LA, and today I have Taylor Bersini with Universal City Studios Credit Union. And today we're going to be going over some basic information regarding how you can build your budget. So I'll go ahead and pass it along to Taylor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much again, Lisa, and Home Again Los Angeles for having us. We've been doing these workshop series for a while. We're super excited to continue them the rest of the year. So this week, we are talking about build your budget. So as she said, my name is Taylor Brasini. I'm with Universal City Studios Credit Union. I am our community and engagement liaison. So basically, my role is connecting with the community and helping doing financial education, and trying to empower people to feel confident with their money. Today's workshop is designed to be practical and interactive. Budgeting can sometimes feel intimidating or restrictive, but our goal today is to show that a budget is just a tool that helps you take control of your finances and make money work for you. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. I just want to say at the beginning, if anyone has any questions, you just let me know. I'm happy to stop and answer them. Okay, so what is a budget? Today we'll be talking about what a budget is and before walking through building one for yourself. Then we'll talk about how to adjust your budget when needed and leave you with some tips for success and how to implement your budget. Before we move on, I just want to share something we see often as credit unions. Many members come in feeling embarrassed about their finances. Sometimes they feel like I should have done better with my money, or they feel like, they're the only one keep track of everything. The truth is, they're not alone. And as someone who sees our members every single day and talks with them over the phone, we get that a lot. People sometimes come in and they feel scared, they feel stuck, and they don't know where to go. They might feel embarrassed because sometimes you have, 20-year-old kids coming in and they just don't know and they really feel embarrassed to even bring it up. And then sometimes you have people who are in their 50s and 60s and still might not know or struggling, maybe just going through a tough phase, struggling to budget, put away money, and they feel embarrassed, like I should have learned this when I was younger, I should have done this better. But we are always a judgment-free zone, and there's always ways that you can help, and there's always ways that we can help. So a lot of times, the thing is we weren't taught these things, whether it was in school or family or etc. We weren't taught those things, and it's totally okay. Um, and there's no perfect overnight uh, situation where you can just fix everything all at once, but it's a lot about process, being proactive, and getting ahead of things. And there's never a bad time to start. So, before we dive into building a budget, let's start talking about what a budget is and what it's not. So many people hear the word budget and immediately think restriction, stress, cutting things out of their life, but a budget is really much simpler than that. A budget is a roadmap on how much money you have to work with and where you need and want it to go. It's not necessarily a requirement to cut out anything that would be considered extra. That means going to a concert. That means, going to a nice fancy restaurant, going out to dinner. A budget isn't meant to take all of that stuff out of your life. It's all about kind of planning and going from there. So something that we can and should look different from each of us based on our unique financial situations, goals, and priorities. So not everyone's budget obviously is going to look the same. And a lot of times, like we were talking about in the last kind of bullet point, it's not about cutting stuff out, but sometimes you make sacrifices in one department so that you can splurge in another department. So, a budget is very simple and it's a roadmap for how much money you have to work with and where you want and need those dollars to go. There's not a single financial goal that does not come down to knowing how much money you have to work with to determine if, how, and when you can reach it. And a budget is the way to know that. If you have a financial goal, a budget is not only a plan for where your money needs to go, but where you would like it to be able to work towards and reach your goals. So here's a quote that you can look at as well. It says, I have a budget. I know what I spend monthly and what it takes to run my household, what it costs to run this home. It's time to stick within a budget for sure, but I think it's a guideline. And I'm the type of person where I'm really sorry. And I'm the type of person where it's really, oh, so sorry, guys. Um, and I'm the type of personality where I'm like, okay, I really want to buy this, so I have to make this and I have to make this in order to be able to buy that for myself, so I'll make it happen. So a lot of times it is about also working within the parameters of what your personality is, who you are, what you like most, and going from there. We do tend to allocate money towards our needs first, but wants are also a big part of that. And it's definitely something that can be worked into every budget. Mhm. Okay, so now we're going to move on to building a budget. So, step one, start by listing all reliable, consistent income. So that's usually where we start with everything is we want to list how much we're making because so much of our budget is going to be dependent on that. So you want to start there. You want to set yourself up for success. So only include income you can rely on. Things like overtime, bonuses, and other income that is not guaranteed or might fluctuate are best considered as extra income that can be put towards reaching your financial goals quicker. Determine how much income you are more or less guaranteed to receive at a minimum and use this number to build your budget. So if anyone wants to be doing this live, you definitely can. I can wait and give you guys time, but I'm gonna go through this so we can kind of get a high level look at what it looks like to build a budget. Okay. So next, list everything you are currently spending money on. List out the amount of any fixed expenses that are usually around the same amount each month. So that's going to be rent potentially, utilities, and everything that's fixed that comes out every month. So that's the next thing. Then move on to listing other expenditures, which can be a little trickier when they may vary more or less. So, for instance, you can gas sometimes falls into that first category if we all know exactly how much we're spending on gas every month, but that could be something that fluctuates. Sometimes you could get one tank a month, two tanks a month, and then there's other things like food. If you go to the store once a week and you spend about $100 or $120, nowadays could be 150 bucks, 200 bucks depending on your family size. But essentially some of that stuff can be set, but eating out, that could be something that fluctuates depending, month to month, how much you plan to take food from home, the amount of leftovers you have, etc. So first you're going to talk about those fixed costs, then it's going to be a little bit more of the variable ones. But all in all, what you're trying to do is establish a general sense of how much you are spending per month. So first it's how much you're making, and then it's going to go into how much you're spending. Comb through your statements over the past few months to get averages if you need to. That's always something that we recommend. Here at Universal City Studios Credit Union, we have a super easy app where it's easy to look back not only at past statements, but also through the app. You can just scroll, you can look back at any of the charges on your phone that you've been or any of the charges on your account that you've been making. You can look at that directly through the app, but it's always a good idea sit down, maybe even make a routine out of it. At the end of the month, the end of the week, a lot of people will even check their accounts daily, just making sure you're seeing how much you're spending. Because a lot of times, if we don't look at our account, it's really easy to swipe the card. It's so easy to just go into a store, swipe the card, or be online and just Amazon really does a good job making it so easy to just press that button, and before you know it, you got 10 boxes on your front porch. But it's really good to get in that habit and it'll help with budgeting as well to start really processing and taking a look at how much you are spending, how much these things cost, and how much you're spending per month on these things because you can spend $50 on Amazon or 20 bucks on Amazon buying one thing here and there, and you might be processing the 20 or 50 bucks. But by the end of the month, sometimes we don't look back and say, wow, I'm spending $500 a month on Amazon, or I'm spending $1,000 a month on eating out. That's something that you want to get in the habit of checking. Um, okay, so next, So, like I was talking about a little bit earlier as well, you want to prioritize all current and future expenses. You really want to focus on what's most important to you. So, if you're someone who knows you're not going to cook a lot, knows you can't get in the habit of packing lunches and bringing it ahead of time, then eating out might be a huge priority for you and something that you want to put towards the top of your budget, something that's not really flexible for you. But there are going to be things that are going to fall towards the bottom of that list, and those are things that you're gonna need to make some decisions about. Okay, so next. Okay, so adjusting your budget. So next, when you're talking about adjusting your budget, do you have enough reliable income to build a budget that includes all of your current and desired expenses? If not, it's time to explore what adjustments you may need to make in order for your budget to cover all your priorities. So that is something that first you're kind of going to be proactive in trying to plan out a budget based on how much money you make and what you would like it to include, what you would like your budget to include. But after you review all the statements and you kind of do the math, sometimes that number might be negative in how much money you have remaining or not as much as you would like left over. So then a lot of people who don't make a budget will kind of just move on with their life, and maybe it's really easy for credit card debt to pile up or a lot of other things to kind of happen. But what's great about making a budget is you can kind of look back and take a look and then say what on this budget can be changed, can be adjusted to get the result that we're looking for. Okay. So after that, review your expense amounts. Where might you be able to reduce spending to avoid having to cut any expenses out entirely? So the costly C's, these are the things that tend to trip up a lot of budgets. And we're probably all guilty of it. It's completely understandable. But the things that tend to trip up a lot of budgets are gonna be this clothes, cars, cola, coffee, cable, cinema, cigarettes, cell phones, children's expenses, carry out, convenience. So a lot of those are probably going to look familiar to you. There's some that have probably changed a little bit, but some of the big ones that we always talk about, coffee. A lot of people that I know, even in our office, get Starbucks every single morning. And while that's great, and again, that could be at one of the top of your priority list, that really adds up. And $4 a day, $5 a day, whatever it might be, sometimes more, per month, per week, per year, that really adds up. So that's something that you can look into. We talk about cinema and carry out. The reason that we tend to bring that up a lot is because those are wants a lot of the times, not necessarily needs. Eating in is going to be a lot cheaper on average. Going out to a movie versus staying in is going to be a lot more expensive. Some of the things like cell phones, cable, but even cable is something that you can look at with the streaming services. A lot of people, because cable is so expensive still, a lot of people might be looking into having one or two streaming services. And talking about streaming services, that's another one. Those really add up with nowadays. I know I'm signed up for a bunch of streaming services and they really add up to potentially as much as cable these days. They could be well over 150, 200 bucks, 300 bucks a month if you're getting all the latest streaming services out there. So those are just things that we want to consider. Again, we're not trying to cut everything out. We're not trying to have no fun at all. We're not trying to do everything perfect, but it's just kind of giving you some things to think about when we're talking about a budget, and how we can build it and kind of adjust the budget. Like I said earlier, subscriptions, that's something that's really big, and sometimes we don't even know that we still have them. We sign up for them and we're not reassessing them, we're not keeping on top of them. Those can be coming out of our account. That's why it's also, like I talked about earlier, good to just kind of monitor our accounts regularly. Sometimes it's daily, like I said, weekly, monthly. It's really good to get in the habit of doing that because then it's really easy to see why am I still getting charged for that? Oh, we don't use that anymore. I could probably do without this. When's the last time we watched a movie on this streaming service? When's the last time we really needed Uber Eats? Do we need to use Uber Eats as much? So those are the kind of things that you can take a look at. Um, Other low priority expenses on the list. And then here's the other option. A lot of times, although it's harder, it sometimes can be easier to cut some expenses, especially the ones that are more in the one category. But review your income, see if there's any ways that you can bring in income. I know we're all probably scouring to try to bring in as much income as possible. It's necessary nowadays, but there are a lot of side hustles on the side that you can do, whether that's even baking in your home around the holidays. Some people will do that. A lot of things online, tech related that you can do. So there is ways you can bring in money absolutely on the side, and that does help expand a budget and lighten up a budget in a lot of ways. So I always recommend to start over, work your way down the list again. Are you able to fit everything in with these adjustments? So now that we've made the adjustments, are we able to fit everything in? And then if not, you want to go back and kind of take a look at it. Repeat those three steps. So you're going to look at your income, you're going to look at your expenses, and then you're going to readjust if necessary. And you kind of want to repeat these until you get into a place where you feel comfortable. And you could be changing either number. If you increase the income or the expenses, both of them can do similar things for your budget. It can improve it in either way that you look at it. So today, I don't know if you guys are following along and doing it, or if you want to take some time, these videos will be out. You can kind of repeat those steps. It's obviously probably going to take more time than just on this call if you're really digging into your statements and looking up how much you spent. I'm a big fan personally of Excel. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's a program that you can use. There's also plenty of apps out there that can help you budget as well, without having to do it all yourself in an Excel spreadsheet. But just getting something down, even in the Notes app. I know my cousin actually in her Notes app, they can do charts. You can do everything, tables, and you can do your whole budget there. And even if it's just a very basic thing to start, nothing crazy, you don't have to go over the top. I think that's another thing that stops a lot of people from budgeting is they feel like it's way too overwhelming putting everything down. So I always recommend just take it piece by piece. Don't feel like you need to accomplish everything right from the start. Just start out, just say, this weekend, all I'm gonna do is try to get down all income sources that we have. And next weekend, I'm gonna do my expenses. And then the next weekend, I'm gonna have my wife do her expenses. And then we bring it together and we see what a budget looks like. And sometimes it can be for the whole household. That's always a great option. But sometimes, even if you just get in the habit of just budgeting for yourself and your own, income, even if you're married or in a relationship, it's just good practice to start getting in that habit. Nothing's gonna be changed 1,000% over the night or overnight, but it's always good to just get in positive habits. Okay, so tips for success. So some of the tips that we like to share. Um, Ease into changes gradually. So that's what I was talking about. Easing into it, it can feel so overwhelming sometimes, especially when there's maybe debt. Um, it just feels so overwhelming. I talk to so many members that just feel overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. And the thing that I always tell them is just start. Start somewhere, put that one foot forward, even if it's just one little thing that you do a day, one little routine that you get into weekly, monthly, etc. It's you're just forming good habits, you're forming the bedrock, and everything else kind of falls into place from there. So find a tracking method that works for you. I talked about some of the options. You can also reach out to us, and I'll talk about this later as well, but you can reach out to our team. We're always happy to help give methods. We also have a financial partner called GreenPath Financial Services. They are amazing. If you really feel stuck, they can help you through it. If you reach out to them, their information will be at the end of this. It's also on our website as well. But they're fantastic because they do everything. They have counselors one-on-one, it's completely free. They will sit with you, walk through your budget, do a budget for you, put you on a roadmap to success, meet with you as much as you would like. They are fantastic. They can help in any language. They have every language possible. So they are fantastic. But any tracking method, whether it's Notes app, Excel, apps, anything, whatever works for you. Even if we've had plenty of people say I like handwriting, that's totally fine. Whatever works for you that is gonna help you be more likely to continue it is what I recommend. So plan ahead for expected expenses, periodic expenses. So a lot of people will say, okay, I've looked at my statements, and over the last 2 months, these are the things that are most likely to come in. These are the things that are coming out of my account. But what a lot of people don't understand, and or not understand, but what a lot of people don't plan for and budget for is those periodic expenses like car registration, for instance. Once a year, you have a big lump sum, or taxes. Tax season comes up. So there's also those things that you have to find the best method for you to where you fit those into a budget. Maybe that's if a car registration is $500, you divide that over 12 months and you start putting that money away per pay period or per month, and then it kind of builds up, and then you'll have that money ready. Or some people will, if they get some unexpected money in for instance, like a bonus, they put that right towards into their savings account, knowing that they're going to have these things that come up: taxes, car registration, etc. So those are things that we definitely want to try to plan for. Include emergency savings in your budget. Now, of course, not everyone has this luxury, and that's totally okay. We would definitely want to focus on our priorities first and our necessities that are going to be absolutely first. Emergency savings is going to be on the lower end of that scale because we have to pay our bills, we have to pay our water, power, pay for our kids, for this and that before we start getting to that emergency savings in your budget. But before, sometimes we're splurging and spending every last dollar that's in our bank account, even if it's putting $10, $20 away. So we have two, $300. Now, again, in a perfect world, we might be saving a couple $1,000s as kind of a break in case of emergency savings fund. But even if it's just a couple $100s, there's unexpected things that come up all the time, emergencies that come up. It could be something like emergency visit, could be anything, a flat tire, and you have to change your tire. Whatever that may be, it's always good to try to budget that in. We're just trying to be prepared because, as we all know, things come up. Last month, I drove over a nail. Never fun, but these things come up, and if we have a little bit of extra money, it just helps ease the stress that so many of us are dealing with. So, as I also mentioned earlier, revisiting our budget regularly and making changes as your situation and goals change is really big. So, the more that we can kind of look at this, the better, because it's on our mind. So, when we go to buy that coffee, when we go to buy and splurge on that thing, we're constantly thinking about, is this in my budget? And again, it's not to say you say no to yourself every time. Mental health is very important. It's something that we all need to be able to treat ourselves from time to time, but it's just making us conscious of the decisions that we're making on a regular basis. And then also, if your situation changes, if someone's out of work, if you might be on maternity leave and you're only getting paid 80% of your paycheck, or you're on disability, you're getting paid less, or on the positive news, you might get a promotion, you might get a raise, you might switch jobs. All of those things will affect our budget. So that's why coming back to it regularly and adjusting it, is very important, because if we're still doing the same spending habits, but we might be out of work, there's definitely going to be a disconnect there. And we're going to need to readjust our budget because our situation has changed. And I always like to say this, I've talked about it so many times: have grace with yourself. Not only splurging, treating yourself, and caring for yourself, but also just having grace for yourself in terms of no one's perfect. Me here, I'm not perfect in any of this. We all are gonna have moments where, We might struggle. There might be times where we forget things. There might be times where we go out over budget. All of these things are completely normal and understandable. There's no judgment. And going back to that first slide where I talked about so many people are so hard on themselves of I should have done this, I should have done that. Why didn't I do this? But it's not about that. Have grace with yourself. The fact that you're even trying is a huge, huge thing. And the fact that you're attempting to budget or even have a budget in place, even if you don't stick to it, you're leaps and bounds way ahead of the average person. So these are things that I always want to remember. Please have grace with yourself. Take it easy. It's always going to be a work in progress. Um, and and um, and that's really important to remember. You don't have to do it alone. That's another thing that I always like to stress. Not only are we here for you, but you can also, if you can, have an open conversation with family members, whether that's parents, whether that's siblings, friends, anyone, coworkers, even if you feel comfortable with that. A lot, you'd be surprised how many people are in this situation are open to talking about it. And if you can get your friends, family to all be talking about this, it's so much easier to do stuff together. It's the same thing with losing weight or training for a big race or anything. The more people that you can get involved, talking about it, thinking in that same mindset, it's so much easier. If you're trying to lose weight potentially, and you have one friend who's always bringing over donuts and always wants to go to McDonald's, which again, both those things are fantastic. We all need them occasionally. But if you guys are much more likely to be talking about healthy options and occasionally splurging, you're all in that same mindset. It's a lot easier. So don't feel like you have to do it alone. If you can't get anyone in your family, friends, or even if you just want an expert, like I said, we have resources here with us at our credit union, but also we have our Green Path partners that can really help you to a next level. They have professional financial experts who can walk you through every step of it, and you will not feel like alone. I was just on a call with them today, and they were saying that they cheer when people finish their program and pay off their debt or hit their savings goals, even if it means they're done through the program and want to move on. They're excited because they really care about helping people. So that's a great resource. So if you ever need anything from them or feel alone, reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you. So I'm glad I have this up on the page. They do everything. GreenPath is fantastic. I'm gonna keep harping on it because they really are. They're free of charge, whether you're members with us or not. I recommend that you are members with us because we can even connect you to more resources above GreenPath. We have so many different things, like a credit building loan, which helps with your savings and building credit. We have amazing products that we can help you out with, but GreenPath is also fantastic. They're a trusted partner of ours. We've had nothing but good things since we've partnered with them. All our members and community members are super happy. They will do everything. They will help you through home buyer if you're trying to buy a home. If you might have a lot of student loan debt, what's the best way to navigate through that? They will sit with you one on one, walk you through it. They'll do credit report reviews, debt management plans. So that one's really great because what they'll do is they'll basically help you budget down to everything as much or as little as you want. And they will create a roadmap where they say, you know, if you keep this up in 6 months, you'll be here in 18 months, you'll be there. And by 2 years, it'll be paid off or your savings goal will be hit. They'll walk you through everything and they deal with all sorts of levels of budgets, whether you're making millions of dollars, whether you're making $50, they'll do it all and they'll help you the best way they can. So if anyone is interested, please reach out and I'm happy to connect you. Here's their information. I'll put it up on the screen, but it's also on our website and also, like I said, you can reach out to me directly, which my information will be on here in a minute, and I can help you get connected. So, lastly, This is our information. My name's Taylor again. Albert, some of you have been on here before. My coworker Albert or Alberto, he goes by both. You can reach out to either one of us. We're always happy to help. Um, our emails are on here. Our phone numbers are on here. If you miss it, this video will also is being recorded, so we can give it to you there, or you can just reach out to Lisa, who can get you connected. And we're happy to help with any questions you have about this presentation or any others. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much. Is if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. But I hope you guys learned something today. And the thing that I'll leave you with is please take it easy on yourselves. Have grace. Just start somewhere, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, Taylor. I know that Leslie she was asking if you're able to share the Excel template that you were talking about,
Yeah, no
like
problem.
the
I
budget
can
template.
definitely yeah, I can definitely share that. Excel itself, if you're familiar with that at all, it has a bunch of templates built in there. I'm happy to share the one that I use personally, but you can play around. There's a bunch of different templates in there already that you can kind of pick what style you like the most. Like I said, there's also apps that are great if you like doing stuff on your phone. But yeah, I'm happy to share that. I can definitely follow up.
Sounds good. Thank you. And thank you for pointing out the whole subscriptions thing because that has been a nightmare for me. I actually, you know what, on just to give you guys an example, I was going through my Wells Fargo app and I guess it gave me like a little pop-up that shows how much I'm spending per year. And it
Mm,
shocked me. So it wasn't crazy, but I mean it's crazy. I thought it was per month for a second. I was like, no, no, there's no way. But it was like $3,000 a year in
wow.
just subscriptions. So I'm like, so I started canceling a bunch and then yeah, you don't need Hulu.
It's crazy how they're there's I call them the silent killers because they just
Yeah,
add up. A lot of the time just comes out of your account. You don't even think about it. You don't even see it. And then by the end of the year you look back and you might see something like that and it just is so expensive and they're all going up little by little
yeah,
every year. So what you thought you had budgeted for 5 years ago, they've, raised their prices 5 times in the last 5 years and now you might reassess, you might be wanting to reassess that and say, okay, I was okay paying $15, but I don't want to pay $35 every month. So
exactly.
it's always good, like I was saying, to reassess. But yeah, some of that stuff adds up and we don't even know a lot of times. I was looking at my statement one time and there was a charge for 299 every single month, and I was like, what is that? I didn't even know what that was. And it was like email storage that I had, that was just kind of on there from years ago, and it's just the little ones that you don't think about because it's not $500 coming out of your account, so you don't even
Exactly.
notice unless you're checking daily, and that
Yeah.
stuff's really hard. So, yeah, great example, Lisa. Totally, that one's a killer for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
But
thank you
does anyone
guys.
have any questions before I go?
Yeah.
Sorry, anyone
Anybody
else?
else? Oh,
Could you,
could you, Sandra,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Hi. Could
Yeah.
you share the info for GreenPath again? Sorry, I
Yes.
didn't get the info.
No, no worries. No worries. Yeah, they're fantastic. I have nothing but good things. Like I said, I was just on a call with them today, and they were talking about some of their testimonials from the people and families that they've worked with, and it was just making me so happy to be partnered with them. And I was like, I need to talk about them even more to our members in the community because they're a really great resource, and they have the time to sit with you at, all hours on a Zoom call or on the phone and walk you through everything, step by step. So they're fantastic. So definitely take down their information. If you guys miss this information or think about it later, think about the questions later, we have a bunch of information on them on our website as well, which is on this page. It should be. If not, oh, it's not on this page. But it's our credit union. It's ucscu.org. And again, if you forget it or need it, you can follow up after. Happy to give that to you. But there's a lot of information there, and you can follow up with me after if you think of any questions.
Alrighty. Thanks again, Taylor. All right, thank you,
No
everybody. Thank you
problem.
for your questions and the participation. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Bye.